Hey, good morning. How y'all doing? It is Well Red Beard. It's a damn fine day to talk about a book, and we are here for a book review. And today we're talking about Violent Vixens. Check it out. Check out that badass cover. I want to give some credit for that cover. I've looked at it and ogled it and loved it for a while, but I have not given anyone credit for it. That is from Mikio Murakami. That is a badass, dynamic cover. Love it. Love the red background. Love the blood on the windshield. Wow. The chainsaw. Check out the chainsaw. Anyway, this is edited by Aric Sundquist. This is from Dark Peninsula Press. And this is my second read from Aric and Dark Peninsula, having done Negative Space. I really, really dug Negative Space. I think I gave it 4 stars. I just really, really like that anthology. It's a damn fine anthology. And I'll be honest with you, going through this one, all along I was like, is this going to live up to Negative Space? And I think I would have told you no. I loved it. I really liked it, but I think I would have told you no until I got back into these stories and started preparing for this review. There are only a couple stories in this book that I didn't really like. I really liked all of them, and there are like 4, my top 4 that I'm going to tell you about here in a bit. I loved those stories. Loved them. Great, great, great short stories. Again, this is an homage to Grindhouse Horror. All of these stories have strong, strong, strong female leads. They deal in all kinds of things. There's some vampiric stories, some apocalyptic stories, some vengeance stories. There's a story about a vampiric rape counselor that, meets with these young girls and gathers information to go out and vengeance on these rapists. There's a story about a revenant, maybe it's a revenant, maybe it's not, but about a woman that survives a rape, being dumped. They think she's dead, and she hangs out in the woods and survives for an unknown amount of time, but it feels like years to be there on the night that the guy does it again to someone else. Some really, really strong stuff. There's a story about like almost a Bonnie and Bonnie story, Bonnie and Clyde, but Bonnie and Bonnie, where these 2 women are out on the run, and one of them is the main catalyst to the thing, and the girl knows she's wrong for her. She knows she's bad, but damn, she loves her. It refers to her as a recalcitrant hurricane, and that line, and I'm not going to read the whole line, but damn, there's just so many good stories in here. So let's talk about my top 4. Oh, I didn't tell you what I rated. Look, I'm giving this book 5 stars. I gave Negative Space 4 stars. Throughout the read of this, I was like, it's 4. It's 4. This book is 4 stars. But I went back and I looked at the stories, and I went back and looked at all my shorts on shorts, which I have shorts on shorts up for all the stories in this book, and at the end of this, we'll pull it into a playlist, and so you get the review and all the shorts on shorts. But if there's a story in this book that I do not talk about here, there's a short on short up for that, so you can check it out. But anyway, as I dug back into those to pick my top 4, I was in awe at how much I enjoyed each story and how hard it was to pick my top 4. So 5 stars. Look, 4.5. Nah, fuck it. 5 stars. So, all right. My 4th favorite story in this book is The Parts That Hurt Me the Most. And this is by Matt Neil Smith. And we open up on this woman. She's got this case, something in this case to get rid of. She's gotten rid of 3 already. This is the last of 4 cases. And then we flash back. There's this heist. 2 men and 2 women, bags of money, and our main character is on a bed, and she's watching 2 people have sex in a shower. They think she's dead. Beside her on the bed is a man with his throat slit. She is laying there. She is wounded. She is hurt, but she is still alive. And we find out that the girl in the shower is her best friend. The guy in the shower was supposed to be her love interest, but they been scheming after this heist, right? They thought they put the two significant others down, but they didn't get her. Just the idea of laying on that bed and seeing this happening and plotting and thinking and knowing that they think you're dead, it was just a really, really cool scene. Excuse me. Now, my third favorite story in the book is called The Dressmaker. This is by Buck Weiss. In this story, we have a dressmaker and her daughter, and she is making this beautiful white dress, and there's this dress form on wheels that she's making it on. You know, it moves around. It plays a big part in the story. You know, she's working on the dress. She finishes the dress. She has her daughter put it away in the bedroom. You get the feeling that she has worked in other occupations, stripper, maybe some other sex industry type stuff. Three men come to the door and kind of force their way in and kind of take over the situation. And this woman will do anything to keep, they're criminals. I mean, you probably got that, but she'll do anything to keep these men off of her young daughter. And there's this part where she is back in the back room, the bedroom with one of these dudes. And she escapes that situation, but there's this scene where she knows there's two other men out there with her daughter still, and that dress form, she pushes it out into the room, and it rolls across, and she comes out behind it, literally guns blazing, and it just super cinematic scene. It felt like almost like a Kill Bill scene or something like that, and it's just a badass scene. And there's a quote in here about a dress, and I'm going to see if I can find it real quick to share it with you. But it talked about, let's see here. Let me see if I can find it. So she's back there, and it also had some cool ties to Dr. Hook. The cover of a Rolling Stone is playing out there in the main room as she turned. Okay. Anyway, and so it's playing, and she realizes she's got like 4 minutes to plan her next move. And it says, as she stared at her blood-covered face in the mirror, she understood that the most beautiful dresses were the easiest to ruin. Love that line. Love that damn line. All right, so my second favorite story in this book is Killer of Hogs, and that is by Mark Wheaton. Annie is a large animal vet. We open on a scene of her putting down some diseased hogs. Afterwards, she goes to see her sister. They are both adopted, and her sister has been doing some research into her DNA because there's she thinks that her family might have like a medical thing that's passed down through generations or whatever. So she's kind of like researching that. In doing so, she starts to research her sister's, our main character, Annie. She's researching Annie's history as well. And then Annie's sister is really, really violently and strangely killed. So Annie deals with the funeral. She goes back to her sister's house to kind of, part with things and, answer, she's checking out her social media and looking all the social media well-wishers, or whatever, paying their respects on social media. And she realizes that her sister's been digging into her family history as well. And she's found out that she's linked to this big crime family, and that when Annie was born, her mother came into the hospital dead, with 1 shot to the head and 2 to the chest and 1 to the stomach, which resulted in this very, very faint scar across Annie's face. So the mob, the crime family, had, basically put her mother, and they thought her, down. But it didn't happen that way. And again, remember, we open on a scene of her putting down some diseased hogs. All right, it is a fucking badass vengeance story. Love it, love it, love it. All right, here we go. Number 1, my favorite story in the book is Bloody Bon Secours by Sarah Reed. And I have a note in here to read the opening paragraph. I might do that, but it's about fallen women. It really talks about fallen women, but our main character is a nanny. It says something like she's nannied like 50 children, and this is a situation where she kind of works in cohorts with the Catholic Church, but she's impregnated by the master, the man of the house at one of these places she's nannying. It feels like it's this Catholic Church baby factory mechanism, so she is brought back into the main fold here, and they basically give birth to her child and take her child, and they're going to give it off to another respectable family. The baby was born out of wedlock. She can't keep it. There's one part where the mother superior or whatever looks at her and she says, this is a home for mothers and children, and you are neither. And, so she's banished. They kind of push her out, doesn't have a job nannying anymore, and they took her child, and she's not gonna let that lie. She's gonna take back what's hers. It's another story of vengeance. It's just dystopian. It's got a feel of The Handmaid's Tale a bit. Deep in women's issues, but when she decides that she is going to not let this lie and take back what's hers, there are some brutal but beautifully written kill scenes, and I'm just gonna, there's like 4 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just gonna tell you about the one, but there's this scene where she goes after one of these nuns or whatever, and she comes into her room, and it talks about the nun's braid being long enough to wrap around her neck 3 times, 4 times if she pulls it tighter, and it's just a brutal but cool scene. Anyway, it is a wonderful, another vengeance story. I guess I love vengeance stories, but it is a great story, and that is Bloody Bon Secours by Sarah Reed. So, 5 stars. It hurts sometimes to let go of that last star, but in this case, 5 stars. Violent Vixens, an homage to grindhouse horror. Edited by Aric Sundquist. This is from Dark Peninsula Press, and they've got 2 anthologies that I'm aware of anyway, Violent Vixens and Negative Space, and you cannot go wrong with either one of those. This has been Well Read Beard. This has been my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're enjoying all your books as much as I am. If not, you're reading the wrong damn books.